On May 3rd, 2005, Turn 10 Studios launched a closed-track simcade racing game, Forza Motorsport, for the OG Xbox, an Xbox exclusive, aiming to directly compete against a very successful franchise exclusive for PlayStation consoles, Gran Turismo. Forza Motorsport turned out to be a successful game, which paved the way for more installments, and so they ran with it. Turn 10 went on to make 6 more sequels for the next 10 plus years alongside another studio, Playground Games, building off a spin-off series for a 2012 release, Forza Horizon, an open world racing game which became even more successful, paving the way for more installments as well, eventually being part of the mainline games alongside Forza Motorsport. But with all those games Turn 10 dropped, one standed out the most, Forza Motorsport 4. Highly regarded as the best Forza game, all due to its features, progression, and gameplay. Since that game, Turn 10 was failing to recapture the same magic it had. Its sequel, Forza Motorsport 5, had a ton of cars, tracks, and features missing. And Forza Motorsport 6 then released, which gained more traction, adding a ton of features missing in 5 back, but still missed the mark in recapturing that magic. And Forza Motorsport 7 reverted back to square one, prioritizing too much quantity that the quality suffered immensely. That was 3 failed attempts at improving from Motorsport 4. So about a year after the release of Motorsport 7, Turn 10 wanted to start over and work on the next game that would soft reboot the franchise, in an attempt to reprise that magic Motorsport 4 had, offering many features, a good progression system, an amazing gameplay, and a live service that would last for the entire 9th generation for the Xbox Series consoles. Did they succeed? Well, you probably already know that answer. But first, let's talk about the lead up to release. In July of 2020, Turn 10 announced and showcased the first look of the game through a short trailer, simply titled Forza Motorsport. The next upcoming game, set to release in the next few years exclusively on the Xbox Series consoles, as well as PC. Many people were excited for this one due to the confirmation that it will be a do-over, if you will, leaving out major potential for the game's overall greatness. Though it was just an announcement, so those optimistic views all around the world went glossing over until 2022, where we heard more about the game. At the Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase event during June of 2022, we finally got our first proper look at the game via trailer as well as a gameplay demo. During that event, Turn 10 promised many things, ranging from being on a brand new engine with rescanned tracks, overall physics, much improved graphics, a full day and night cycle with dynamic weather conditions, a new track temp grip level mechanic, as well as a new change to the damage model, ultimately claiming it as the most technically advanced racing game ever made, all built from the ground up. Now remember those words from later on. But anyway, all of this felt promising and exciting for most people to see this showcase, as at the time, it was a good refresher to see the improvements, as we thought. Coming into Q1 of 2023, we hear more about the game once again at the Xbox and Bethesda livestream. Here, we got to see the behind the scenes of the development behind this game, from sounds, graphics, and stating what's already been said on the last showcase, as well as reassuring the statement.
Are built from the ground up. Built from the ground up.
Some questionable decisions in the showcase were shown as well, like claiming to have a ton of added customization while showing body parts for the Miata from previous games, including the infamous Forza Arrow. At the end of the showcase though, they also announced the release date coming later that year with no exact date or time frame. That meant that it was in fact delayed due to the previous year's showcase stating that it would drop in spring of 2023. But after the showcase, in June of 2023, you finally got some more info on the game in every Forza monthly leading up to launch, which was finally announced to be released in fall of 2023. So in case you don't know, Forza Monthly is a monthly live stream where the Forza developers showcase the new update drops every month for Horizon and Motorsport. So for the June live stream, we finally heard more about the game with a new trailer and an in-depth look of the gameplay with Chris Sasaki, the creative director, talking about the new features such as the new penalty system, the full day and night cycle, in the career mode with the infamous new upgrade system, which I'll get to later. For most people though, it seemed like this game didn't look very promising, and that's what was going on in most people's heads throughout the next few months as we learn more about their priorities with this game. On the last Forza Monthly stream right before launch, we get a little bit more info about the game's features. And with the combination of the other streams in between the June stream and the October stream, we learn quite a bit. Features being 8 times the fidelity of handling more than Forza Motorsport 7, major improvements on the AI drivers, making them not as predictable, as well as faster, improvements on the wheel, a revamped multiplayer with proper penalties, and much more. So ultimately, within a couple of weeks until launch, the game looked to be quite weird. Weird in that its promises weren't really met. However, the optimism was still there as we would see how it actually turned out in launch. On October 10th of 2023, Forza Motorsport launched worldwide, exclusively on the Xbox Series consoles and PC, with over 500 cars, 20 tracks, a revamped multiplayer, and a new builder's career mode centered around building cars with a new upgrade system from the ground up. And that's kinda it. And honestly, that's how it dropped. Very underwhelming. The game launched with a massive ton of missing content, from tracks to cars to event types. Everything was just missing. And what we got was not so great either. The overall gameplay was a step up in terms of the handling, and the tracks we got seemed to be a ton more detailed than the previous entries. But there's an uncertainty if most were actually rescanned, due to some similarities with the previous titles. And on the topic of rescanned, none of the old car models from the Xbox 360 era of games got that treatment. The graphics as well were just not on the same level as we saw in trailers and showcases by a significant amount. They've massively dipped, so much in fact that Forza Motorsport 7 in some cases looked better, which was just a dull looking game overall. The builder's career mode was lacking severely with the amount of categories it had, with just only having 4 or 5 different event categories, all of which not featuring any race car type of sorts. Then there's a new upgrade system, which requires a different currency, car points. You earn car points by driving your car around tracks. Every car you own, you need to earn car points for. None carry over, as well as the levels. So most car parts were locked behind levels, the max for each car being 50, which takes well over 3 hours to max one car. I don't even need to get into the overall reception of that system. So what's left is multiplayer, and this section of the game was actually good from the start. The new penalty system actually made the difference in how people played the game. Not only did the penalties affect your races, your rating did as well. The new rating system is based on safety, which goes from E to S, E being the lowest rating an S being the highest rating. Having a lower rating will put you in lobbies with dirtier drivers, and the opposite for you having a higher rarity or rating, which was a massive step in the right direction. And on top of that, pit strategies finally had a purpose due to the introduction of soft, medium, and hard tires, as well as, well, wet tires, when race tires are applied to your car, making 16-minute plus races interesting as you have to pit. So overall, most of the features at launch weren't very good and was simply lacking. But that wouldn't be the cherry on top on how built from the ground up it was. As you know, the game launched as a massive bug fest, and it was crazy how many there even were. And to be honest, you wouldn't fully understand unless you actually experienced it yourself. If you were to watch any video on this game at launch, practically everyone would tell you it crashed too much, things wouldn't save, almost being unplayable at times. It was insane. And to ask ourselves, why was it so buggy? Why was it so content empty? Well, we have no idea. Kinda. Essentially, 6 or 5 years was the amount of time Turn 10 had on developing this game. And so do you think that's more than enough time to make a great game? And yes, you'll be right about that. But it seems as though there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. Months ago, a former developer from Turn 10 made a video discussing the issues with the development process of this game. A link to the video will be in the description, so after this video, I highly recommend checking that out for more insight on what was actually going on. On that note though, we've gotten monthly updates on this game since launch, already at update 12, with update 13 probably out as you're watching this video right now. So let's see how much actually changed in a year. As of September 2024, we've gotten 12 major updates on this game, dropping at a similar time period, usually within the second or third week of every month. All starting from November of 2023 with update 1 to now in September 2024 with update 12 at the time of making this video. Since launch, we've seen significant changes to the structure of the game, many bug fixes, added tracks, added cars, as well as added events and quality of life features. Now, I'll only be touching upon the major important changes we got, as we be here all day hearing about unimportant things like a sound change on a specific car. So let's get right to it. In every update, usually 2 new career event modes get added. Some multiplayer event types get added or return, as well as spotlight events drop with their cars each week. I'm not going to specifically get into the spotlight stuff right now, but I will get into the 2 new career event modes. So every update, Turn 10 brings in these modes. One from the feature selection, and the other being an open class event mode. Now these modes usually come with mainly returning cars that you can earn from completing them, that are new cars that get added to the game but were for previous entries. However, they only stay for a month until new modes come in and replace them, so keep that in mind. So every update the ones go away and for new ones, so just keep that in mind. They're only staying for a month. Otherwise, let's talk about most of the content that was added up until update 12. In terms of content, we got a total of 6 new tracks, 44 new cars, 20 plus multiplayer spec events, and 2 major multiplayer events with 3 added events. At launch, we had a total of 20 tracks. Tracks being Barcelona, Spa, Eagle Rock, Grand Oak, Hakone, Homestead Miami, Indianapolis, Kalami, Mama, Lime Rock, Maple Valley, Mid-Ohio, Mugello, Nürburgring, Grand Prix only, Road America, Silverstone, Suzuka, Virginia, Watkins Glen, and Laguna Seca. As of update 12, we got 6 additional tracks added. Those being ordered respectively: Yas Marina in update 2, Hockenheimring in update 3, Daytona in update 4, Nürburgring Nordschleife in update 5, Brands Hatch in update 7, Sebring in update 9, and Road Atlanta in update 11. A chunk of cars that were added to the game were within the paid car pass add-on. So you have to pay with real life money to get half of these cars. The total amount of cars being 24. Outside of that, 20 cars have been added to the limited time career event modes, all being unattainable as of now, other than the recent ones for update 12, so 10 of them are obtainable. There are also some added cars that were initially available as spotlight cars, where a car every week gets discounted with also their own spotlight exclusive event types and multiplayer and rivals where you use that specific car. Though most of these added cars, the ones being in the career mode and the car pass ones, were just returning ones from previous games, so there's only a small portion of those added cars that were actually new to the series, or for specifically in the Forza Motorsport franchise for that matter. Some of the things that were improved were the graphics. At launch, the game looked really hit or miss in terms of visuals, but now it's a 9-day difference on how much better it is. The overall game has been fixed, stability wise. Many bugs have been executed. Issues with cars, tracks, UI, replays, saving, you name it, have been mostly settled, as the game is now ultimately stable. The AI and penalty system were also improved, as the AI was not very consistent at all initially, and the penalties were giving out false or too harsh penalties too frequently. But one major thing was improved, or for better words, tweaked: the upgrade system. What changed was that you no longer needed to grind car points to get your car points. For one, no car parts were level locked anymore. And two, you can simply get additional car points in exchange for credits to purchase your parts. So you can get whatever you want, whenever you wanted to, which was massive and game-changing. Other things that got added were the return of multi-class racing in multiplayer, as well as the addition of endurance racing and multiplayer that rotates in and out the same way every other multiplayer event rotates. What was also added were the separation of events within the GT cars. Before, every GT type being GT4, GT3, and GT2 were all categorized into only one event in multiplayer. Now each GT type has their own event: Forza GT4, Forza GT3, and Forza GT2, which all rotate consecutively each week. They also added an additional open class event in multiplayer, making it 3 available classes for you to do instead of just 2. And on top of that, the addition of, I would just call extra rewards, was added as well, where you can essentially get rewards like credits, racing suits, and cars by doing the challenges the tab offers, which was a pretty good addition considering it also offered the added career cards you can get, all of which gives you the option to do another challenge to get them other than having to play through a whole career event mode. And that just about does it for what they fixed and added since launch. And honestly, they did a fairly decent job at fixing the game and adding important core features. Obviously, there's a ton more to add to make the game feel more complete, as there's still a ton missing. But right now, Turn 10 has a solid foundation in my opinion. even though this is how the game should have turned out at launch, no doubt about that. For the future though, it's expected in update 13 for them to bring back the drift mode, as well as the highly requested track, Bathurst. And who knows, we could see the return of drag races and many other things in the future. This game will be around for a while in terms of live service, so only time will tell in a couple more years. But this has been Forza Motorsport 1 year later. And you know what, that's it guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. This was a massive video and massive project, so hopefully you guys can leave a like and share the video for others to watch. This took a while to make, and I needed to, as soon as the start of 2024, I put this on my roadmap, so I made sure that this video was gonna happen, this video was gonna be made. So I'm glad I finally got this video out for you guys to watch. And for the next upcoming months, it's gonna be a bit chill. I'm not gonna really do much. You know, update 9 or volume 9 for Unbound is gonna drop, so I will make videos on that. And that kind of wraps up the year. I probably will do a couple of videos on Forza Horizon in terms of like my expectations for Horizon 6. Even though I made a previous video on that, I'll kind of like touch upon that more, and maybe a couple of videos here and there. You'll see. But for 2025, things are going to be stacked. I'll just tell you that right now. Things are going to be stacked. Just get hyped for 2025. I'm going to start locking in with this whole thing. Videos might take longer to make, and videos might take longer to come out, because I am now in college and things are starting to ramp up in terms of work there. So just bear with me as we are in this journey. But hey, I'm gonna put up some bangers for next upcoming videos and for the rest of my videos, you know, for next year and the next few videos up until next year. So hope you guys stay locked in as much as I am with all my upcoming videos I'm gonna make. So hope you guys enjoy the video again, and see you guys next time.